Welcome everyone to part 2 of my Q&A video, The Rock vs. John Cena rematch, part 2. Let's get it on with Wrestling God 900, excuse me. WWE or TNA? WWE, better promotion. Always been a fan of WWE, plain and simple. WWE all the way. Following questions coming in from is Davey98. Dude, I saw your 200 video, your 200 subscriber video. Dude, you're great, and I wish you the best of luck on getting 300. He says, who is your favorite wrestler in TNA, WWE, and ROH? Favorite TNA superstar, Austin Aries. Favorite WWE superstar, Dolph Ziggler. And favorite ROH superstar is Adam Cole or Eddie Edwards. Very good talents in ROH, which I can't wait to see, in August. He also says, who are your favorite bands / artists? Favorite bands, Metallica, AC/DC, all those rock bands. And my favorite artists, Chris Brown to Michael Jackson to Drake to Tyga to Lil Wayne to Big Sean to Nicki Minaj, all those artists. I love, all those genres. Next question comes in from his RanTuber. He says, excuse me, actually I forgot. Davey asks, what's your favorite title change? Hulk Hogan's, title reign coming to an end at the end of the late 90s. It was a 3-year reign, and it finally came to an end. Following question comes in from his RanTuber. He says, who is your favorite MMA fighter? George St. Pierre. I love the guy. He's a great competitor, and I can't wait to see him come back after he torn his ACL last year to face Condon at UFC 154 in November. Following questions coming from his Millennium Starblade TV. He says, do you think Tyson Kidd deserves a push after Money in the Bank? And hell yeah, he does. I mean, he beat Lord Tensai, which doesn't mean a lot, but I see this kid doing a lot in the WWE, probably being a multi-time, maybe Intercontinental Champion. So yeah, keep him in the mid card. Let's see if he can hold the Intercontinental Championship at least for one occasion or 2 occasions in the WWE. He also says, do you think Dolph Ziggler is the next Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair? Yes, I can guarantee you Dolph Ziggler will be the next Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair. I see Dolph Ziggler becoming a multi-time world champion, a multi-time WWE champion. This kid is the way of the future. So, props to Dolph Ziggler, man. I mean, you're going to be the next Shawn Michaels. I can guarantee you that, man. The following question comes in from my boy Miles, the bad guy. He says, so a bunch of people in the YWC are going to the NYC next year for WrestleMania. Will you be there with all the YWC members? And yes, Miles, I will be there. New York / New Jersey, I will be there at WrestleMania 29. And I can't wait to see you. And if you're there, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see the rest of the YWC members. And it's going to be cool to actually hang out with some of the YWC members. So, yeah, so be prepared. April 7, 2013, I will be there. The next question is, do you think you're underrated, overrated, or in the middle as far as YouTube is concerned? I'm somewhere in the middle. Some videos I get overrated on, some videos I get underrated on. So, I'm somewhere in the middle. So, thank you for that question. And this last question that he asked is, have you ever sat in the car too long and your dick got hard for no reason? And I dreaded this question, but I'll answer it. Yes, it's happened to me on multiple occasions. A lot of guys out there can relate. A lot of them are probably scared enough to admit it, and here I am admitting it on YouTube. Yes, my dick has gone hard sitting in the car too long. So, yeah, so that's my answer. The following questions, and thank you, Miles, for those 3 questions. The following questions coming from CJ Edu808. He says, who are your favorite YouTubers, such as Ninga Hinga, Smosh, etc.? My favorite YouTubers are Ninga Hinga, the whole YTF crew, Yesterday, Today, Forever crew. Chester C, Kev Jumba, Andrew Garcia, JR, and all those guys. Now are you going to keep your Pringle mustache? No. I'll be shaving it soon, and I can guarantee you guys I'll be shaving it soon. So, I guess stick out for that if you guys want to see me shave it off. I'll actually probably do a video on it of me shaving it off, so stay tuned for that one. Sorry guys if I'm laughing, but that is a pretty funny question. Following questions coming from SpitterNet1. He says, what do you think of Quentin Tarantino's movies like Pulp Fiction and Kill Blood? I have them on VCR, I have them on DVD, great movies, and I always like to enjoy watching them. And also, which is the better series, Rocky or Rambo? I'm more of an action guy, so I'm going to have to say it's Rambo, but the Rocky series I loved, but Rambo just kicked ass from start to finish, even the 2006 one of just the regular name Rambo. So yeah, thank you SpitterNet1 for sending in those questions. Following questions coming from is Nate B, that nigga, or Nate, that nigga 92. He says, thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys. They're a great team. They're going to be very underrated this year. They're going to have a lot of pressure on them due to the fact that in another sport, LeBron James won the NBA championship, and we're still without Tony Romo. Tony Romo is a great quarterback, and I'm surprised he still hasn't had a ring yet. But I guarantee we'll see the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, but we'll see the Cowboys in the playoffs. And they did a pretty good job this year in the NFL draft. So I see a bright future for the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully they can relieve the pressure off of them, with the championship status. He said, and he also asked TNA or ROH. ROH better promotion, plain and simple. I can't wait to see him again. I keep saying it. August 11th, 2012. I'll be there. Are you going to be there? Let me know down below. And he also says tits are ass. Pretty much ass. Tits doesn't really bother me. I don't care. Girl's beauty is a girl's beauty, no matter what she looks like. He also says Michael Myers or Jason or Freddy Krueger. Jason because he has he has multiple weapons in his disposal. Michael Myers runs around with a knife, and Freddy Krueger has his claw. So yeah. And he said if you had to book the perfect WrestleMania fantasy card, past or present, who would you book? Here's my eight match card. Hopefully you guys like this. Starting off with Macho Man Randy Savage versus John Morrison, the two flamboyant superstars in the WWE. We have Ravishing Rick Rude versus the show-off Dolph Ziggler. Eddie Guerrero versus Evan Bourne, the two greatest high flyers ever. Also we have is the two behemoths, Andre the Giant versus the Big Show. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Daniel Bryan, two very good technical wrestlers. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus CM Punk, the two opposite sides. Everyone wants to see that match happen. I want to see that match happen, and I can't wait for it to happen. One day, I hope it does happen. And for my main event, I have is The Rock versus Hulk Hogan versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. Will be on the line. And I would love to see that match. Hulk Hogan, of course, he was a part of the Attitude Era. Being a part of the NWO. But he was also a part of the previous era, so I would like to see all those three eras combined, and then see what was the better era. Was it the Attitude Era? Was it the era before that, or is it the PG era now? So and also I forgot to mention is the Hardys versus the Rockers. I would love to see that match. They are both multi-time tag team champions. Of course the Rockers go into the AWA and then into the WWE. In the late 1980s. So yeah. So thank you, Nate that nigga 92 for sending in your questions. Then we have is Nutty Rot Chick sending in her question saying, if you could have booked the Raw Money in the Bank, who would you have put in, and who would be your winner? People that I would put in: Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, Kane, Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, The Miz, Jack Swagger, and Rey Mysterio. My winner would be Dolph Ziggler because, man, that guy's is going to be on a roll. I can't wait for him to become WWE Champion one day or the World Heavyweight Champion one day. So, yeah, so Dolph Ziggler for the win in that Raw Money in the Bank ladder match, if that would be my booked card or match. The following question comes in from Chronix from the Most Extreme Wrestling, and he says, do you think WWE will ever go 3D? Probably not due to the PG era. The reason why I say that is because your following question, would be, would there be more Divas matches if they did? And probably not because I wouldn't mind. WWE going 3D, why not? Pretty much you'll see the guys grabbing the girls' asses in the air and then grabbing their tits in the air, and then probably the woman grabbing the guy's private parts. Who knows? But thank you, Chronix, for sending in those two questions, man. The following questions come in from his Fight Nation Wrestling. He says, who do you want to see win the Money in the Bank ladder matches? For Raw, we all know it's going to be John Cena, so I'm just going to go with John Cena winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. And for SmackDown, I want is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is a future World Heavyweight Champion, a multi-time probably World Champion or WWE Champion. I see a bright future for Cody Rhodes, the son of Dusty Rhodes and the brother of Dustin Rhodes, aka Goldust. So yeah. And he also says, which wrestler from TNA would you like to see in WWE, and vice versa? AJ Styles to WWE. This guy, I would love to see him in the WWE. And then Evan Bourne to TNA. He could help out the X Division if he would stay away from drugs, but apparently he doesn't. And then the final question he has is thoughts. He has his thoughts on Austin Aries being TNA champion. I love it. This kid, came from having probably one of the longest X Division title reigns, and now is the TNA champion. So he'll be the TNA champion probably for a very long time. And yeah, so Austin Aries is the TNA champion. Uh, the following questions coming from is the Wrestling Geniuses, aka my boy Marco Rose, my black broski. He says, what was the first match you remember watching? I would have to say Royal Rumble 1998. When Michaels versus Taker in the casket match for the WWE Championship, where Kane eventually would burn the casket with the Undertaker inside, and also Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think, winning his second consecutive Royal Rumble match. So yeah. So Royal Rumble 1998 was my first time. Well, it wasn't necessarily my first time watching wrestling, but my main time watching wrestling. He said, what wrestler inspired you to become a wrestling fan? Of course, it's the People's Champ, The Rock. This man inspired me to, keep watching wrestling. I mean, the way he electrified the audience, the way, his mic skills are. I mean, he's just, the man. So, The Rock inspired me to become a wrestling fan, and I can't wait for the day I get to, meet him again, because I did meet him last year, at WrestleMania 28. Very cool guy to hang out, well, not to hang out with, but to talk to. And the final question that he asked is, who is your favorite YouTube shooter or shooters? Pretty much it's you, Marco Rose. I mean, Marco, you're a great shooter, and hopefully you continue doing what you're doing, man, because at the end of the day, you're one of the greatest shooters I've ever seen or I've ever met. 3 questions come from it's the 420 Goody, and thank you, Marco Rose, for sending in those questions. Is, who do you think is more likely to main event WrestleMania first, Dolph Ziggler or Cody Rhodes? I'm gonna have to say it's Cody Rhodes. Dolph Ziggler has been given so many chances, and you guys know I love Dolph Ziggler, but I'm gonna have to say it's Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes will probably win Money in the Bank and actually could wait until WrestleMania, or he could cash it in right away. So I could see Cody Rhodes main eventing WrestleMania first. So there's your answer to your question. And what title should WWE lose, and what title should they replace it with? The U.S. title for the Internet title, because the U.S. title is being mocked because of Santino being the WWE United States champion. And no offense to Santino, he's a great wrestler. A lot of you guys, say, oh, he sucks, but in reality, he actually is a pretty good wrestler. So, you know what? Props to Santino, but I would like to see the Internet title. It could be a pre-show title, like before the pay-per-view. They have the Internet title. You have Zack Ryder versus Kurt Hawkins, or something like that. And 420 Goody, final answer says, are you familiar with PWG? Yes, I am. It's a great promotion. It's partly owned by Joey Ryan, the guy who you last saw, who got eventually fired and was voted off by Taz on Impact Wrestling. So yeah, I love that promotion. Great promotion, and I am familiar with it. And then the final question for the Q&A, number 1, comes from Amir Y2J fan, my brother Amir. He says, who and how did you get into wrestling? My Uncle Joe was a major fan. My dad was a major fan at the time as well. My dad was a major fan of Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, and still to this day, he always asks me, when are they going to return? When are they going to wrestle? I said, Dad, you got to realize, Ric Flair's in his 60s, and then you have, Hulk Hogan still in his late 50s. So, I doubt they'll ever wrestle again. But Hulk Hogan wrestles, from time to time, not as much because due to his multiple back surgeries, and then Ric Flair wrestles. A lot of times, even though he was supposed to retire in 2008 when he lost to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24. So, pretty much my Uncle Joe was the one who got me into wrestling, so did my dad. And you know what? And I've always been inspired to do wrestling and all that stuff. So thank you guys, all you guys, for sending in your questions from the bottom of my heart. Being the generous guy I am, and what you guys didn't know in the video, is I am plugging every single person that left a question in the comment section down below in the last video that I made for announcing the Q&A video. So thank you, all you guys, for leaving your questions, and I'll probably be doing the Q&As for probably every 2 weeks. So if you guys want to leave your questions down below, you guys can start, and I'll start writing it down in this notebook right here, and that'll be for next time. So I'm out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you guys are, and I'm Ryan Suze 18, and I'm out, guys. Peace.